March 1st, 2019.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 91. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill.
Hello, Todd.
Hello, Seth.
How are you doing today, Todd? Feeling good?
I mean, I'll say this, like, jumping on the podcast has been a highlight of my week. It's been a shit week so far.
Jumping on the podcast is always a highlight of my week, Todd. Always.
Same. Yeah, it definitely is.
Always a good time to sit here and talk about some video games.
The video games.
The video games. I'm sitting there, and I'm not going to get into any details until it actually happens. When it happens, I'll update everybody. But I'm about to come into a lot of free time. We'll say that.
Ah, yes.
And I'm just like tantalized. My nipples are hard thinking about all the video games I'm going to be able to play. Thinking about how I'm going to be able to clear out that sweet, sweet backlog. I have a backlog from here to Timbuktu, Todd.
Still not as bad as a mutual friend of ours, Daniel.
Oh, well, the thing about it is like I cast, and we've talked about this before, I cast such a wide net. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I play indie games and AAA games, and I like this and I like that. Pretty much the only series, like the only genre that I don't dabble in some respects is, like, sports games.
I don't even remember the last time I played a sports game, honestly.
Even that, like, I enjoy, like, NBA Jam and stuff like that. So, I mean, I even dabble in that. I mean, there's really no genre of video game that I can't find something to like in, you know? Like, racing, I would say that I play a solid racing game, like, once a year. Like, I just sit there and, like, get really into a racing game.
It's funny, is that actually that's how I used to treat sports games when I was younger.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, sports games have always... I'm much more of a fan of, like, arcadey sports games.
Yeah.
I don't like the kind of self-serious, like, I don't play Madden or, like, 2K or anything like that.
You like that? Yeah, you like NBA Jam where, like, the fucking... Like, when you're dunking, you got, like, some fucking fire on them.
He's on fire. Boom shakalaka. That shit's so good. That shit is so good. I can't believe they never... Because I think EA owns that license, and I can't believe they never did a quick and dirty port of that to current-gen systems.
I understand something. This is the same company that's leaving money on the table. All right? Not doing Skate 4.
That's some real shit. Skate 4 is going to happen, though.
You know what? Bringing back a classic, dropping in a Skate 4.
Oldie but a goodie. Nerd Bourbon has changed in significant ways since the Skate 4 days, but Skate 4 will never die. Anyway, what have you been playing this week, Todd?
Shit. Like, it's funny is, like, my week has been such a, like, just garbage shit show of just getting my ass fucked, basically.
I'm kind of in the same boat, dude.
Like, it's just like, I don't know, in the times where I finally decided to play something, obviously, like, I always go to my comfort game of, like, Monster Hunter, killing some monsters.
Killing them good monsters.
And it's like, that's kind of where I've been. I've been just, like, doing investigations, chilling with that. And then, other than that, like, I jumped on Anthem for a little bit. I've been, like, maybe doing, like, a story mission, like, every day before, like, I'd, like, go take my nap before work. That's about it. And it's just, like, every time I'm playing Anthem, like, since the last time I talked about it last week, I'm just like, giant,
That is, I want to, just for a quick second, I want to circle back to something you just said, because that was something that I was actually talking to you about recently. The idea of, like, the sort of, like, comfort games, the sort of just, like, you know, the sort of the games where you play when you're, like, depressed and you have just a bunch of, like, free time on your hands and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
we were talking about, like, the games that sort of define your, like, unemployment and shit like that, like, where where you just have free time, you're just trying to lose yourself in something, you know?
I think we talked about that off the podcast, and that was, like, the one game that came to mind for me was Borderlands 2.
Because you, like, just put hundreds and hundreds.
Oh, dude. Hundreds is, like, that's sad. Thousands.
I'm about to say, we can stop defining it at hundreds, I think, at a certain point.
It's again, I ruined that game for people, because, like, how well-versed in that game I was. But
we would try to show Borderlands 2 to, like, other people who hadn't played it, because we both enjoyed it so much. And look, I put a lot of time into that game. I didn't even come close.
No.
to the hours you
No.
logged. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey Dan, like come play Borderlands 2 with us. We love this game. We're playing it every day, blah blah blah. And then it's like, get ready for Todd's guided tour of Pandora.
It is essentially like, dude, I had that game memorized. I had every single legendary, I had like multiple versions of the legendaries. It was like, it's fucking bad, dude. It was real bad. I would jump on and fucking farm. Like that's where I was in that game. I love that game. That's actually why like the pre-sequel hurt my feelings, because it's like really not a good looter shooter in my opinion. The pre-sequel.
God, I hate that fucking term so much. Looter shooter. Looter. That is just one of the criminal words. That's just you're just a thought criminal for putting that into the ether. Like, I just hate that. I hate whenever those words enter my brain, when they invade my brain space.
It's funny though. That is like a subgenre of shooter now though. So
yeah, I guess.
It's a thing, but yeah.
It's funny because it just like BioShock Infinite is totally that game for me, where like between my last job and my current job, like BioShock Infinite came out like boom, like right after I left my last job. Yeah. And I just like played that game nonstop for basically like a week. I could have written guides on that game.
I remember like Anastasia saying something to you about it like at one point. Like she like came home from like work or some shit.
It's funny. So this was in March of 2013. I'll never forget this because I left GameStop at that point. Anastasia moved in with me during that month, and that was all happening in the same time. And BioShock Infinite came out. She didn't have her new job set up yet. She had just moved in, right? She had just moved from like another city and stuff like that. So her days basically consisted of like waking up and just like dealing with me and my depression playing BioShock Infinite.
Oh God.
That was basically, she would like come up behind me as I'm sitting in my chair playing it for the, fifth time. And she's just like, I'm just so fucking sick of this game. Will you please play anything else? Will you please play literally anything else?
God bless.
I was just like, I gotta get all my achievements.
Gotta get all my achievements. Terrible.
So that game now forever in my mind is totally like that. That's the
there's always that
game.
funny thing though. The funny thing about like that honeymoon like mentality of like being unemployed. Like you enjoy it for like I'll say this. You enjoy it for a solid week, if that.
For a little while, it's nice. Like when I first left GameStop, I was like, okay, yeah, like this is gonna be a nice little break. I could use a vacation basically, and then I'll get back on my feet and I'll find something else. And I ended up being unemployed for like 8 months.
Yeah, so, I think we ended up. It's funny is I think we ended up getting a job legitimately around the same time.
You got a job, I think, 3 days before I got mine.
Yeah, December 11th, 2013.
Okay, so it was 2 days. Mine's December 13th.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then that turned into a whole joke of any time, like, I remember when I was happy. I remember when happiness died, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
It's funny. It's just funny how, like, certain games take on, like, certain... Like, as you look back at your life and you sort of, like, remember different punctuating moments of your life, you associate the games you're playing. Like, for me, like, KOTOR is forever going to be in my memory. Like, I'll never forget having strep throat and scarlet fever as a kid. I had scarlet fever, dude, which is like a fucking, like, 1800s disease. And I basically... it's like, the boys come down with scarlet fever. It's just like... And I just remember, like, I would just sit there with, like, bowls of ice cream playing KOTOR, just nonstop. Yeah. That's forever what that game is going to be for me.
I think that's why I can still play Borderlands 2 if I ever really wanted to, because it just has such a, like, just has a warm, just makes me warm inside playing that game because I love it so much.
When you were in those dark times...
Oh, dude, I love it.
You turn to whatever you can for comfort. And comfort comes in the form of video games.
Shit. So, yeah, back to shitting on Anthem now. I'm just...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like And I haven't played it, and to be quite frank with you, Todd, I have no intention of ever playing that game.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm honestly kind of getting to the point of like, do I want to play this game right now? Because one, really, I don't like playing that game by myself, and I don't like playing with randos.
Yeah.
So it's like, honestly, the story kind of like annoyed me because like I saw a twist coming a mile away, and I was just hoping they wouldn't do it, but they did. And I was like, God damn it.
That's always disappointing when you see those twists.
Yeah, it was obvious, and I'm not trying to spoil anybody, so that's why I'm being very vague
just
about
in case somebody gives a fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, so in case somebody gives a shit about that garbage ass story, but
it just sounds
the
to me
anthem of
like
creation.
Yeah, it just the anthem of creation. It sounds to me like that game just like the there's no like the only redeeming quality is the fact that the gameplay is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like the core
but even
design.
then, like how far can that carry a game?
Exactly. Like how far can you really sit there and just like I'm having fun playing this, but the story is completely pedestrian.
As much as I can like shit on like as much as people have shat on Destiny, I think Destiny did a better job of like building their world and like making the lore more interesting.
Well, it sounds to me, I mean, at least Destiny has somewhat interesting things to do in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like really dead ass nothing to like. If you go into like free play, which is basically like patrol, basically, it's boring, dude. It's like you just go there and like it's just they use it to like do basically missions that aren't missions.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It's love playing the game, hate getting through it.
From what we've heard, it's kind of I'll tell you what, it's kind of bleak, dude. From what we've heard with Anthem sales.
Yep, I heard about it. It's like it's bad.
The physical sales for Anthem are so far half of Mass Effect Andromeda's.
Dude, it's just like
for the launch week sales.
This is R.I.P.
So it's just hobbling along. Now, granted, that is only physical sales, and I honestly think that like EA, and this is just a classic example of just EA's like tone deafness in the way they release some of their games, because there's all this convoluted shit of like when can you get the game, when can you play it early, and
well, that's the whole thing. That's the thing that a lot of games are doing. It's like you get like the digital deluxe. You play this game fucking early, then you got like, then it's coming out on like a different system at a different day. It's like what the fuck? What's going on?
Yeah, it's weird, and so it seems like maybe the digital sales make up a little bit of that gap, but the physical sales being half of Andromeda sales, which Andromeda's launch week was already like not even half of Mass Effect 3's launch week. So,
yep.
I mean, it just does not bode well for EA and BioWare.
Let's I want to give a short eulogy for
play the bagpipes for BioWare, right?
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, look, BioWare's a good developer that has gone astray, and I'm sort of hoping that they get a chance to redeem themselves with Dragon Age 4, because
that's even if they get the fucking chance.
That's what I'm saying.
Like EA can be like, just pull the fucking trigger on their asses right now.
I think
done.
My prediction, and I think I may have said this last week or the week before or something like that, but my prediction is that EA is going to do massive layoffs at BioWare and essentially leave one BioWare studio open as like a skeleton crew, essentially, to work on Dragon Age.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Like, I think BioWare has like 2 or 3 branches, if I'm not mistaken. And I bet you all except for, I think there's one in like Edmonton or something like that. That's like the main one. And I think there's one, let me see. Yeah, they have a couple of, So they have BioWare Austin, which is who works on like the Old Republic and stuff, which the Old Republic actually is still going like relatively strong. So, and they actually apparently have already shuttered a lot of different BioWare. BioWare once had a studio in San Francisco. They once had a studio in Montreal. So BioWare's already had kind of a tumultuous relationship with EA and shuttering their studios. I think it seems like they actually only have 2 studios right now. Just Austin and Edmonton. So, wow. 800 employees as of 2010 too.
Oh, and this is interesting. I'm actually reading something right now. Diablo 3 designer gives BioWare advice on how to fix Anthem.
Ooh, that is interesting. What does he say?
I don't. So it was Travis Day. Apparently he worked, he worked on Diablo 3 chiefly Reaper Souls. Apparently he had like a 1,500 word essay on exactly what ails Anthem.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know. Let me see. Oh, I actually here you go. There's like he has like a bunch of shit going on. Like it's like useless inscriptions on gear, risk versus reward, no reason for random strongholds, targeted farming, difficulty, granularity. That sounds about right, because I guess a lot of people are like drawing parallels from like Diablo 3 and like Anthem, just the way like the game's set up, like class wise and end game in a way. Because that's kind of how the end game is kind of. It's like you got like not Torment, but it's like Grandmaster, Grandmaster 2. I wonder if they're gonna add more like Grandmaster 3, shit like that.
I'm sure they will, and I'm sure they're gonna continue to support the game. The interesting thing about that to me is like a lot of those issues, and Diablo 3 really sort of added a bunch, and the game completely changed over the course of its life. But I would be a little bit shocked if Anthem was able to do the same. You know, is like. No matter how much you support Anthem, are you really going to be able to turn it around? Some of these issues are core issues, like with the game that you can't, like things that are inherent about the game that cannot be fixed. You know, like you can't go back and make the story better. Like you can only fuck that up once. I don't know.
I wonder. I honestly want to kind of like go find this dude's actual like 1,500 word essay and probably like read it later.
Yeah,
but
that's interesting.
I'm definitely interested in that because I mean this is the guy that basically like because a lot of people bitched about Diablo 3 and I think he they fixed that shit up basically with Reaper of Souls basically.
Yeah, Diablo 3 had issues when it came out, but I mean like the core of Diablo 3 was still really solid. When it came out. Like, and again, the game has, taken a total transformation over its life, but like the core game when it came out nonetheless was completely good and solid on its own. And that's Anthem's issue, is like Anthem's already starting from a bad place.
Yeah.
I
mean, I am curious to see if like they can turn it around. That is kind of where I'm like, cause again, I enjoy playing the game. I don't even know if EA would view it as a worthwhile thing if the game's not selling well. If nobody's playing your game, then who are you even fixing it for? Like, is EA really going to bother dumping resources into Anthem if nobody's there to enjoy the changes? I got to give credit to... This makes me think of No Man's Sky. And I have to sort of tip my hat to Hello Games because, to their credit, they supported that game despite the fact that people had already tapped the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, people had already... There were, of course it had its core audience, but the general public had already checked out of No Man's Sky long ago. Some real shit.
And they just said, fuck it, and they just kept, they kept supporting it, and now the people that are playing that game love it,
It's the game's like, it's funny, is like No Man's Sky is like a complete different fucking game at this point.
They made a complete transformation.
Well, dude, I jumped back into it. I played a little bit like when it first came out, then I jumped back into it when they had the whole big update came out. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I had to like relearn the game.
Yeah, the game was essentially unrecognizable. They changed so much about it, but anyway, it's interesting. Anthem is, good or bad. Success or blunder, Anthem is definitely an interesting. It's an interesting bonfire to watch burn down.
It's a burning garbage truck.
Yeah, it's an interesting train wreck to watch, if nothing else. So.
Yeah.
I've got, I haven't really, this is just same old song and dance. I've just been playing Kingdom Hearts. That's about it. Like, I honestly, my free hours are just like clean up some trophies in Kingdom Hearts. I will say I'm in the home stretch. Like, I will probably finish Kingdom Hearts within the next week or so. In terms of the story. Like, I this time next week, I would like to say that I will have the main story completed. I'll probably still have some shit to do, like some trophy cleanup and some grinding and stuff like that, but for the most part, I am in the home stretch, I would say.
I'm proud of you.
I think I'm about 50 hours in. And I think I probably have. I mean, maybe I'm just talking on my ass. I know for sure that I only have one more like world. Like I'm basically doing a sprint to the finish in terms of the story. But there's just some more grindy stuff that I have to do. There's some of the gummy ship stuff that I'm going to have to do. So, I mean, I imagine I probably have another like 10 to 15 hours in front of me. But I honestly, I honestly think that I'm almost done with the game. And I really just want to get it wrapped up, at least the main story wrapped up before Devil May Cry comes out. So, because Devil May Cry is going to become my main like single player game.
Shit, when is that game coming out?
March 8th.
Okay.
Next week.
Okay.
So
That's basically, I'm hoping I can beat that before Sekiro comes out.
Oh, you should have no problems with that. I mean, the nice thing about Devil May Cry is like the stories are always pretty short.
Yeah.
So it's good for like that solid playthrough and like repeat playthroughs just for fun and like unlocks and stuff like that. But I bet you the main playthrough of Devil May Cry is probably going to be like less than 10 hours.
Yeah. That's good.
So nothing wrong with that. I do have, we played some more Far Cry New Dawn, which has been kind of sporadically popping up on our YouTube channel. We've been playing some more of that. We still have not I wouldn't say we put a huge amount of time. I think between
if you just added up like the amount of things, it's probably like a little like 4 hours. Maybe.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 hours probably between everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, we haven't put a ton of time into it, but we're making headway. We're making slow progress, and I mean, for what it's worth, I'm having a good time with it. And
I think both of us were talking just a little bit, like, because we actually recorded part 3 before we even recorded this, is, like, the story. I mean, it's interesting, if anything.
It is an interesting story, if anything, because it is a direct sequel to Far Cry 5, and it is sort of just going for it, like, it's just going there, for better or for worse. And I have my issues with Far Cry 5, but at least this game is sort of owning up to the things that Far Cry 5 did, So I'm having a good time. I mean, it's whenever we do get a chance to play it, which has not been often, it is an exciting moment for me. I am like, oh, cool, we get to play some more Far Cry.
It's funny. We talked about this. It's just like, God, if we didn't have to record it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing: is like you sort of have to. Just to make an entertaining, recording for people to watch on YouTube, you have to be on. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just, because there are days where we just like play games together and we're just kind of like moping and we're tired and stuff like that.
We're living in that like state of just fuck life.
Yeah, let's just hang out and play games together and just sort of like, play games for a couple hours and then go to sleep before work.
Exactly.
And that's all fine, but like the thing about it is you can't really bring that energy to a recording session.
Of course not.
And expect to make good content. So a lot of the times it's like, you feel like recording today? No. All right.
Well, that's the thing. Like I kind of get a feel for myself. Like when I get out of work and I'm just like, I know from how I feel like that moment I step out the door, I'm like, yeah, that's just not happening today.
Yeah, so the Far Cry videos have been kind of sporadic, but hopefully the ones that we have been posting have been enjoyable because I'm having a good time with the game. Like, it's a fun game. Like it definitely. We'll see where it ranks by the time it's all said and done, but I would say that it's probably in my higher echelon of Far Cry games so far.
At the moment, I will agree with that.
I'm digging it.
I really wish I could see your point of view when I Batman that motherfucker.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
That's good shit.
Anyway, that's about it for what's been going on in terms of what we've been doing. But it has been a relatively big news week. I've got a couple of news items to hit on here, both big and small. And I think what I'll start off with, since this is kind of a one and done news item that's probably exciting to me and like 3 other people, Capcom, and they already announced this previously, but we finally have a release date. Capcom is bringing 3 Resident Evil games to the Switch. They're bringing the RE1 remake, Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 4. And those are coming out. Those are coming out May 21st for Nintendo Switch.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, shit. I love Resident Evil 4. This will give me a chance to buy it for the 12th time.
Oh God.
I swear to God, I think I own Resident Evil 4 on every available platform it's ever been on.
You do. Like every time that the thing's ever come out, I know you've bought it.
there's a certain there are certain few games that like Capcom just keeps re-releasing, and I keep buying them. Okami is one of them. So I'm just like, and the fact that it's coming to Switch though is exciting for me because you guys know this if you've been listening to the podcast for a while. When Okami came to Switch, I did a full playthrough. I did a full 40-hour playthrough of Okami. So, I could actually see myself doing another Resident Evil 4 playthrough.
This is honestly this is when I wish you had like a capture card and your computer can handle it, because like that'd be content.
It would be content. So it's it's upsetting. I would like to do that, but maybe one day.
I know your computer definitely can't handle it though.
I don't think it could.
That's where we just need to. You need to use my computers.
need to set up a studio. No, but Resident Evil 4. I mean, would you be interested in playing any of these on your Switch?
I mean,
would you dip your toes back in the water? Have you played any of
funny.
these?
You know what's funny is I've played I've played like Resident Evil 1 and whatnot, but I've never actually played Resident Evil 4.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I mean, yeah, I know that. Like I basically played like the original one. And then then I didn't play him for years, and then I played Resident Evil 5.
I really, really, really want to play the RE2 remake. I want to play that so bad. Like that's one of those games where I'm just like I'm looking at this like block of time off I'm about to have, and I'm just like, I think that might be one of those games that I play after I'm done.
That game has spawned like one of the weirdest memes to me.
Are you talking about the face morphing shit or whatever?
No, I'm talking about like Chris Redfield.
Oh yeah. That is a weird meme.
Why aren't you pounding my sister? It's like, what?
It is weird the way they have him looking in that game. It doesn't really look like him. I don't know. I kind of like the beefcake, Chris Redfield.
You know what it is? They're going for the Resident Evil 7.
I understand that.
It's I don't know why they changed it. I do kind of miss the boulder punching.
Yeah, I like the boulder punching. Chris Redfield. I don't know. I like him. I like that Chris Redfield. But yeah, I understand that. I understand they're having trying to have a little bit of that brand synergy with Resident Evil 7 and stuff like that, and that's cool. Whatever. But anyway, those games come out May 21st. You can already pre-order them on the Nintendo eShop. At the time of you listening to this, it's not live yet at the time of this recording, so I don't know what price they're charging. I would assume probably $20 for all of them, if I had to guess. I don't know for sure yet, though. So that's happening. I'm definitely picking up 4 at least. Did you watch the Detective Pikachu trailer, the second one?
I actually forgot to watch it.
That's okay. It's I just I won't talk too much in detail about it then. But I will just say that I'm so on board with that movie.
I mean, I'm already down for it just from like the first trailer. So like even if the second trailer is basically just selling it more, I'm like, eh.
We see more Pokemon. We get more humor. They I don't know. Like I don't know if it's just like time. I don't know if it's just like a separation thing where I'm just like I don't mind the Pokemon designs as much anymore. But they don't bother me as much. I don't know.
I don't think they really ever bothered me that much.
They did at first. For me, they.
I think the only one that bothered me was Mr. Mime.
And Mr. Mime was pretty bad.
Mr. Mime bothered the shit out of me.
So it's more Detective Pikachu. The new trailer was good. I'm excited for the movie, and it's one of those things. I'm just like, and without spoiling too much. If you've played the Detective Pikachu video game, which is actually a really good game, and I highly recommend it for people, even though it's on 3DS, it's still a really good game. But it seems to me like there is a twist in the trailer, a twisty twist, as Pikachu says in the trailer, that sort of all but confirms that the more we see of this movie, the more I'm like, okay, this is just dead ass going to follow the plot of the game. It seems like, which isn't a bad thing. We've got this is something that actually this is a story that just broke today. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts 3 director Tetsuya Nomura has confirmed that both free and paid DLC is in the works for Kingdom Hearts 3. So that's exciting. seems like they're working on like incremental updates to the game for free. Probably like they're probably going to include like the critical mode difficulty, maybe some free keyblades or something like that. But the paid DLC, that's what intrigues me. Are they going to be adding worlds to the game? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm like, give me that Zootopia world. You know, give me that Moana world. That would be very, very exciting for me. So we'll see how that goes. I wanted to give you an opportunity because I do not own the game on PC, but Overwatch's 30th hero was revealed.
Ah, yes.
Baptiste. And he is already live on the PTR, so I know you've already had a chance to fuck with him.
Yeah, I definitely fucked with him.
So what's the deal with Baptiste? Tell us all about him.
He's interesting, man. Like, okay, so his passive ability, right? Like he's very aggressive, like aggressive support. That's kind of the whole deal with him.
Yeah, he's supposed to be sort of an aggressive, like fast-moving support character.
So his passive ability is his passive movement ability. What it does is when you crouch, you charge up a super jump, basically. I mean, you could use that to escape, but I think it seems more like it's gonna be more suited for like setting up bullshit, like setting up attacks. Other than that, his kit seems like he would really, really like help out like Ana a lot.
Right.
Like I feel like him and Ana would work really, really well together. But so kit wise, what you got going for him is his weapon is a triple burst assault rifle. Honestly, reminds me of like how people play Soldier, where they tap it.
I actually have. Sorry to interrupt. I actually have a quote here. Speaking of that, there's just a perfect segue to talk about this. The lead hero designer Jeff Goodman. I've got a quote here where he actually speaks on that. He says, "Quote: I think we'll see Baptiste played with Ana for some longer range damage dealing and damage boost ultimate comboing."
I'm telling you.
He says Ana can also fire through his amplification matrix.
Yeah.
And get both boost healing and boosted damage depending on who she hits.
Exactly. That's like I didn't even read that shit.
Yeah.
I was calling that just by like just fucking my knowledge of the game.
He also says he thinks it's possible that they'll see Baptiste paired with Bastion a lot, which can be really scary when you can buy him precious time with the immortality field and boost his already scary damage.
Yep. Dude, like the ult is the amplification matrix. It's like this whole like square or whatever. Dude, anything that goes through that is amped. Like fucking Reinhardt's Fire Strike, all that shit.
Yeah.
Dude, you can probably fucking one-shot a motherfucker with that Fire Strike, with that.
That is cool. He goes on to say, this is another neat little tidbit. Apparently, when they design heroes, they actually keep an open line of communication with professional Overwatch players.
Sounds about right.
Which is cool. So, anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. Continue.
But yeah, so yeah, you run. Well, I kind of already talked about the ult at this point now.
Yeah.
With the amplification matrix.
Yeah.
His other thing is his main like bread and butter healing. It's like the I think it's just like the regeneration burst or regenerative burst, whatever the fuck. It's just I don't even think there's an aura around it. I think you just like if they're just near you, like they can leave. It doesn't really matter. They just get they just regen health for like I don't even know how long it is, but they just get health regen. It's pretty nice, honestly.
Apparently, it has healing grenades also.
Yes, that's his alt fire actually.
Okay.
And I tested that. I tested to see if it would damage, like enemies. No, it is essentially only a heal.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know if they're gonna change that, but when I was testing it, it was only healing. So basically, just imagine it's basically Ana's like a little like grenade type of shit she'd do.
Right.
You know.
So what's his primary fire then?
That triple burst.
Okay. Gotcha.
Triple burst assault rifle, basically.
Cool.
So he's got a little bit of accuracy going on for him. Like you can be pretty accurate with him.
I mean, he sounds cool. I mean,
hey, I'm looking forward to seeing his skins.
Right.
That's all. I mean, it's funny. It's like I don't even really play the game anymore, but I always like seeing the skins.
Well, that's what we always say is like that's the game that we love the most and play the least. Because we can sit here and have like passionate conversation about Overwatch, and Lord knows we haven't played Overwatch in like 6 months.
I swear. It's like I think we've talked about playing it recently, and it's just like we just never did.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard to like, I playing with just the two of us. Yeah, we could jump in, we could have a good time, but For me,
But we definitely get more annoyed. We'd get annoyed quickly.
yeah, for me, the Overwatch experience is like getting a whole squad together. I mean, I really loved when like we got a big group of like me, you, Dan, Jacob, Anastasia, like everybody like all together.
Yeah, those motherfuckers got into Dan and Jacob got into ranked.
Yeah, they were playing competitive and stuff like that.
Yeah, competitive and shit. Like they actually got me to play with them one time because they wanted they needed me as a tank, and I was like, fuck, I guess I'll play a little bit.
No, that's like those are the kind of experiences that I like to have with Overwatch. Is like, yeah, you know, playing just the two of us, it can be fun and stuff like that. But I like to get the whole squad together and really, you know, really go in.
Oh, it's a fun experience. It is. That's where that game shines. And I remember just like when I was doing that competitive shit with Dan and Jacob, I was doing shit with Reinhardt. I was doing the Lord's work. I always forget how good I am with Reinhardt.
Yeah.
When I have good heals.
Yeah. So you know, I still have a very soft spot in my heart for Overwatch. I'll always love Overwatch, even if I take breaks from it. You know.
Always.
After all this time. But so I've got a couple other news items here, and I just kind of want to, you know, they're kind of big ones, so I wanted to save these for last. So today, at the time of this recording, they just revealed the Generation 8 Pokemon games for Nintendo Switch. And this is a big deal. So they did this by way of like a 7-minute Nintendo Direct that they hosted early in the morning for some reason. I don't know why. But they're called Pokémon Sword and Pokémon Shield. What do you make of this? What's your raw reactions?
I mean, it's an interesting name.
Yeah, I sort of wonder. So one of the things that we sort of learn in this little 7-minute direct here is that it's taking place in a new region. Obviously, that's you know, new generation, new region, new Pokemon. It's called Galar, I guess, and it's based on the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it's funny. Is like just watching the trailer, I kind of got that vibe.
Yeah, you could tell. It sort of has like very like varied environments, like snowy, and we see cave structures, we see kind of hilly plains, we see almost like steampunk looking areas, like kind of more industrial areas. But it looks interesting. You know, it's funny because the new region being based on the UK has actually been like rumored for a long time leading up to this.
Really?
And
that's funny.
A lot of people were kind of like soft on that idea. A lot of people were kind of like, I don't know if I want that. Like, I think the UK would be a little bit boring. But to be honest with you, even just in this reveal trailer, I'm like, it looks great to me.
Yeah, just real shit.
The one thing I will say, there's, you know, and again, it's very early, but there's that shot they had of the Galar region or whatever, and it's got like a sort of big tower in its center as the focal point. I'm assuming that's supposed to be like Big Ben or whatever. But it's very like it calls back a lot to me the Prism Tower in Pokemon X and Y. So I'm just kind of like, it's a little like that's a little much. Like that seems a little samey to me. I'm a little worried that Galar is going to feel a little bit too much like Kalos or whatever. Because Kalos was already European. It was sort of based on, like, France, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, the Prism Tower was basically the Eiffel Tower. I do worry that maybe it's going to feel a little similar. But another thing that we got in this trailer was the reveal of the 3 starter Pokemon. We've got a sort of... The grass type is sort of a monkey, a grass monkey named Grookey. We've got a fire kind of bunny rabbit, Score Bunny. And we've got a water tadpole named Sobble.
I know where my heart lies.
It's you know, you're always the fire type.
Always and forever.
Typical. I gotta be honest, like I don't know why there's so much hate on these starters right now. There's a lot of people.
Everybody shits on them. I swear, there's usually hate on most of the starters.
I've always been a grass type guy. Like I've always gravitated towards the grass type Pokemon. You know, Bulbasaur, Trico, like Turtwig. Like I've always gravitated towards the grass types. I just love their designs. Grookey, I like the way he looks. I like his attitude. I like the sort of mischievous little shit attitude he's got. I think it's going to boil down to, and this is something that I was talking to you about. You got to see what those final evolutions are.
Yeah,
right.
That's all. That's what it really matters.
Like, you can like these as much as you want, but it's really going to boil down to what those final evolutions look like.
I am calling that Sobble's going to be like a fucking frog or whatever the fuck.
He probably will be. I wonder how ham they're going to go with that, though. Like, how ham they're going to go. Like, what direction of frog are they going to take with it? Because
he did, dude. Like, the moment he came out the water, I'm like, he's tadpole ass looking.
Yeah, he's definitely a tadpole. But there's also, I mean, we've already kind of done the Mudkip thing, and the Swampert or whatever his name is, and
I wouldn't say that's like a frog. That's more of a.
I mean, it's kind of froggy, like
not really.
In
a way, but not like crazy.
I guess it's not.
They can go full. They can go full frog.
I guess you can go full frog now. I suppose. I just love Sobble's, like, Sobble's personality is definitely my favorite. The sort of, the sort of sad, depressed, and anxious one.
They captured it with like just like the few like little seconds that he was on screen. It was just like him like looking around like, oh shit.
Yeah, they did a really good job of capturing their different personalities with this little trailer. So I don't know, for Score Bunny, everybody's really gravitating towards Score Bunny. Seems like that's the fan favorite.
Of course. Fire types rule. No.
They really do in the fan community, at least. I remember it was the same way with Sun and Moon. Like, everybody loved Litten.
I feel like did that shit fall off at all, like when they saw like the final evolution though?
It's Incineroar?
Yeah.
No, people love Incineroar.
Okay, I was saying, I mean, I love Incineroar. I just think it's hilarious though. Because it goes from, like, cat to fucking wrestler. It's like, what?
What direction do you think they're going to take with Score Bunny?
Honestly, I'm curious. Because, like, well, here's the thing. Like, with Incineroar, they just completely, like... I thought it was just going to end up just being full cat the entire time. So...
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's kind of hard to predict, I guess, after Litten, right?
Yeah, so I don't know where they can go with it. They could instantly just do, like, kind of a similar thing they did with Torchic. Kind of just getting like an older chicken, basically.
That was actually something I was gonna touch on. Like, he reminds me so much of Torchic.
Yeah, which is fine for me because like Blaziken is like my favorite Pokemon. So
even just like his silhouette looks like Torchic.
It does. Like the ears look like the feathers, basically.
Yeah, the ears look like his feathers. Like honestly, if you took just a silhouette of Score Bunny's head. It would literally just look like Torchic.
Yeah, so. I mean, I can agree with that.
So Grookey, I feel like, and I was telling you this, I kind of hope they go for his final evolution. They go full like orangutan mode, you know?
Is it wrong? I want him to be like a silverback with like a big ass stick.
God, it'd be great too. There's almost I would be shocked if they fuck Grookey up for me. Like there's almost no way they can fuck up that Pokemon for me. So, Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, the interesting thing about this title here for me is, like, I have a theory, and I want to go ahead and say, so the information that we just covered is basically all we know about Pokemon Sword and Shield. We know the starters, we know the region, we know that it's coming to Nintendo Switch in late 2019. That's about all we know. We saw a little bit of gameplay.
Yeah.
If you look at the logo for Pokemon Sword and Shield, you will notice that on the sword and on the shield, in the logo, there is sort of a wolf kind of logo, like sort of a wolf design to it.
Yeah.
I kind of predict that the legendary for this game is going to be the same legendary, but two different versions of the same legendary for this one.
Somebody also, there was like I'm on like our Pokemon right now.
Yeah.
There's this post that says potential legendary spoiler. I guess there's a shot in the trailer where there's like this like fucking like a design in the grass on a hill.
Yeah, which is, and I didn't know this, that's a real thing in Britain apparently. Like apparently
really? Britain
actually has like a glyph in the hillside, like that's like a famous landmark apparently.
Oh shit.
I didn't even know about that. No, that's a real thing.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah, so, and it has the wolf on it, right?
I think it does, actually.
Yeah.
Like a small thing on it. Let me take a look.
So there's all this wolf, like, all this wolf sort of imagery I'm sort of looking at this, and I'm just like, I feel like the wolf is going to be like a that's going to be the legendary, or something involved with the wolf. You know what I mean? Maybe there's some sort of like, this is taking place in Britain, obviously. Like maybe they're going to really dive into the history of the Galar region. Maybe there was sort of a Knights Guard kind of thing. Like maybe there's like a modern version of like a Pokemon version of the Knights of the Round Table or some shit, like a Knights.
That'd be cool as fuck, dude.
You know what I mean? Like this is just spitballing here, but I'm just saying.
Dude, that'd be cool as shit though.
That's just the sort of stuff that I get from the fact that it's being set in the UK essentially. The fact that it's called Pokemon Sword and Shield. I mean, it sends my head to these places, and I don't know. I'm very, very intrigued to see where we go with this. What did you like? How did you like the game? Like just the way we saw significant clips of gameplay.
I think it looks great. Like, and it's not even like the final game, you know?
Yeah, it should be noted the trailer here is not the final version of the game. It seems to me like it looked great in some spots. It looked kind of ugly in other spots.
Yeah. Seems like the random battles are back.
Yes, it does. All but confirmed, honestly, because there's that shot in the trailer where they're sneaking through the tall grass, and you see that sort of effect pop up.
Yeah, I love that. Like that's. Yeah, I'm gonna be all over this game, honestly.
Should we? I don't feel like I can put my stake in the ground until I know the deal with the legendaries or the exclusive Pokemon. But what are you leaning to?
Just by name alone, I'm getting Shield.
Shield, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
The tank in me.
That's true. That is true. So you already know that I have to get the opposite one that you get. So
of course.
So, it's intriguing. We do see, this seems to me like this is basically. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't go crazier with the perspective. I was kind of expecting this to be, because this is the first game on the Nintendo Switch. Like, I'm sitting here like,
were you expecting him to go like full like third person?
Yeah, like over the shoulder kind of thing.
Oh, dude, that would have been fucking crazy.
Yeah. And then I also get the sense that like this is totally like running on a sort of advanced version of the Pokemon Let's Go engine.
Yeah.
Like this sort of the character models and stuff look right out of Let's Go, which is fine. Because Let's Go is a very pretty game, but my only hope is that I just want the game to run well. Because, Pokemon Sun and Moon, I loved it, kind of ran like shit at some points. Mm-hmm. So, I'm very, very looking forward to this. I really, this did enough to get me hyped, even in just 7 minutes. So, new Pokemon game. It's certainly going to be the biggest game on Switch this year, in terms of sales. So... one last bit of news, and this is kind of a megaton, and I don't feel like people are talking about it enough. Because if this is real, this could be maybe the most significant development in video games in the past, 10 years. Because there have been significant rumors that at GDC next month, Microsoft is going to announce some sort of partnership with Nintendo, where they will be porting certain Microsoft exclusive games to Nintendo Switch, as well as incorporating their xCloud technology to allow for streaming of Xbox One Game Pass games to the Nintendo Switch.
That's fucking insane to me.
Could you imagine that?
Dude, that's insane. Like, I can't imagine it, even if it happens.
This is the sort of thing, and I'm seeing a lot of discourse on this where the people who are talking about this are sort of like, why would Microsoft do that? Why would Microsoft further cannibalize their Xbox sales and lose their exclusivity? Here's the thing, is that Microsoft made it clear this generation that they don't care about that. Microsoft's strategy here is to allow you to play Xbox wherever you want. Yeah. That's what they want. Microsoft wants you to be able to turn on your TV and boom, you can play Xbox. Doesn't matter if you have the box or not, because you want to know why? You don't get Netflix big by selling a $400, $500 box. You know what I mean?
Real talk.
Real talk. Netflix doesn't sell boxes. Netflix sells Netflix. They're less worried about selling you a console, and they're more worried about selling you Xbox. You know what I mean? They want you to turn on your Switch and boom, Xbox is there. Mm-hmm. They want to sell you Game Pass. They want to sell you Xbox Live Gold and stuff like that. They don't, if you want the primo experience and if you want to enjoy the entire Xbox ecosystem, if you don't want to stream anymore and you want to have the games native on the most powerful hardware on the market, great, come buy our Xbox console. But if you don't want to do that, you can still stream it on your Switch, on your phone, on your computer, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, I gotta say, I find it very smart. I think it's very innovative, very ballsy, and very smart.
Well, Xbox is making the moves, man. Microsoft has been making moves.
This next generation, Microsoft is out for blood.
Dude, I've said this, I've said this many times on the podcast. Like, I might be coming home next generation.
That's the thing for me is like, so there's already precedent for this. Think about it, Todd. In the last Nintendo Direct, everybody raised their eyebrows when we saw that Hellblade was coming, right?
Yeah.
Because that is now a Microsoft-owned studio.
Yep.
And that game is coming to Nintendo Switch, right? So it was that secretly Microsoft planting the seed and being like, yeah, like our games are going to come out on Switch.
It's real shit. It's yeah.
There have been the rumors are pointing to ports of both Ori games and Cuphead coming to the Switch.
Wow. Wow.
Native ports of those coming to the Switch. And then the thing that sort of spearheaded this was like several weeks ago, there was an eShop data mine that found an Xbox app logo in there. This could be nothing. This could be like, you can look at your Xbox friends list on the Switch or like, basic shit like that. Or this could be an app that allows you to stream Xbox games, Xbox Game Pass games onto your Switch. I mean, that would be crazy to sit there and play Sea of Thieves on your Switch, to play Crackdown on your Switch, to play all of these. They have like 100+ games on Game Pass. And to play them all on your Switch. I mean, that would be insane, dude. Not everybody's going to have like the internet capacity to do those well,
Oh, no. God, no.
But like we're going to get there one day. And like this is the sort of forward-thinking stuff that like companies need to be focusing on more. Like Microsoft is really planting their foot in the ground as an innovator in this space. And like I said, it's not about the boxes anymore. They want to be Netflix. They want Xbox to carry that weight. They don't want to be in, however like 60 million homes or whatever it is that Xbox One is sold, where we think it's between 60 and 70 million. They're not very forthcoming. But they don't want to be in 60 to 70 million homes. They want to be in 300 million homes. You know what I mean? They want to be in, they want to be as big as Netflix and Hulu and the services that don't require a box. They work on the things you already have. And if you want to buy the box, great. That's the thing is like Microsoft has doubled down on hardware in a big way. This next generation, we're going to see them double down on software. We talked ad nauseum about all of the studios they acquired last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, shit, they acquired Obsidian. I mean, that's a major role-playing game developer that they now own. I mean, like they have acquired essentially any of the like notable third parties that are still sort of freelance were basically acquired by Microsoft last year.
Yep.
So I'm telling, like, Microsoft is not giving up. They are not going down without a fight. And like, this is something that I've said on repeat basically since last E3 is like, I would be so scared if I were Sony. I really would. Because you can be as cocky as you want. You can be as cocky as you want selling all these PS4s, but don't think for a second that this fan base will not turn on you. The way that they turned on 360.
Well, here's the thing. I go where the games are.
Yeah. Well, and
that's my thing.
And Xbox's strategy is about to be like, you go where the games are. Guess what? The games are everywhere. There are games, and they're fucking everywhere. You turn on your Switch, they're there. You turn on your phone, they're there. You can sit there and just stream the games to your smartphone, to your Switch, to your TV, like whatever. Whatever you want, you can stream your game there. And you don't have to, like, that's fucking insane. I can't even fathom that. I can't even fathom just like turning on my Switch and just seeing an Xbox logo there. You know what I mean? Like that's
weird to me. That's fucking just.
That is such a significant like development in video game history, and nobody's talking about it. Like that is such a change of the Xbox brand. Like Xbox for so long, Microsoft for so long was focused on making their own stamp, and they are only just now, they're realizing now that the way you do that is to not keep doing the same song and dance. The industry is changing, and you have to change with it. You know, you have to come out swinging. You have to do these innovations. I mean, Nintendo Switch has not seen its meteoric success for just being another box that you play games on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Real talk.
Like, when PS5 comes out, you know, I'm sure it's going to be great. We don't know anything really about it, but it's probably just going to be another box that you play games on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I have to say, if that is going to be Sony's strategy, it's not going to be good enough.
Yep. Not with all this innovation going on.
Yeah, you have got to roll these punches. You've got to change with the industry if you want to survive. And like it's really, really fascinating to see these developments, and I can't wait to see where this stuff goes. Even if it doesn't happen immediately, we're already starting to see the seeds planted. I would not be shocked if this Ori and this Cuphead port news is real, and it sort of engenders a relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo. And by the way, the biggest thing about this for me, fuck all this importance for the video game history. This means that Banjo's coming to Smash, baby.
That right there is the most important thing. God, that Banjo would be so fucking good in Smash.
Instantly my main. I don't care.
Even if he was bad, I think you'd still play.
I would be good with him. I would force myself to be good with him. Instantly my main, Banjo, if they brought him to Smash. And this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, though. Like, it opens the doors for so many things. At that point, you have Nintendo now suddenly has access to all of the Rare IP. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's one less door. It's famously GoldenEye has always been like a very hard IP to deal with because there's like 5 people that own rights to it. But
God.
That's one more door closed now. Like Microsoft, you don't have to worry about Microsoft anymore if you have this relationship with them. So
yeah,
that makes things like the N64 Classic a little bit easier to deal with now that you can get games like Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64 and stuff like that.
You get all those games that were popular with those.
Yeah, so I mean, like, a healthy relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo is exciting for so many reasons. And
honestly, I enjoy company collaboration.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome. It's awesome. And, like, and it's happening at the perfect time because Microsoft has been pushed into a corner by Sony because Sony has so thoroughly raped them this generation that they sort of were pushed into a corner and forced to change, right? There is no sort of like quicker, there's no faster thinker, Todd, than the person that is under the gun. You know what I mean? Like, when Microsoft is put under the gun by Sony, they are forced to think of ways to change and innovate and grow and be exciting again. So this is a scared Microsoft that has turned into a triumphant Microsoft that we're going to see in this next generation. And this is happening at the same time as it's happening for Nintendo. We're seeing a renaissance with Nintendo, a new Nintendo that is not scared of collaboration at all. Nintendo used to be very much about like, oh, nobody's coming into the clubhouse, nobody's dealing with our IP, nobody's doing this, nobody's doing that. Well, now that is the opposite of Nintendo's strategy. Nintendo wants to branch out even more than ever before. So here's another interesting tidbit. What if this deal goes both ways? What if you start seeing Nintendo stuff on Xbox? Wouldn't that be fucking crazy?
You shut your fucking mouth. No, I'm just
Wouldn't that be crazy? I'm not saying like you're going to see Mario on Xbox, but what if a Nintendo developed game, you know, Splatoon 3, let's say. What if Splatoon 3 you can play that on Xbox? You know what I mean?
That'd be weird. It'd be weird. Because that's not a thing. But it'd be cool.
Or like a port, you know, a port of it or something like that. Like, what if this deal goes both ways? You know, what if Nintendo designs a game specifically for Xbox? There's so many fascinating things that could happen as a result of this this rumored partnership. And like I said, with everything that we know and everything that's been rumored and like the little seeds that have been planted, I really do think that this is like a thing. I really do think that this is going to happen in some capacity. So, I don't know. It's exciting to me. I'm very, if you can't tell, I'm very amped up about this.
No, I definitely can tell.
Anyway, but news does not get much bigger than that this week, Todd. That's about all I've got. Unless you wanted to add anything else. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I mean, there's one thing we missed last week, but I don't know if we care to talk about.
What was it? I can't remember.
It was our boy. We weren't our body was not ready.
Right. Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot about that. I would be remiss to yes. I completely forgot about that. That actually happened like the day after we recorded last week's episode.
Yep.
You're right. Oh man, I would have been so pissed if I forgot to mention that on this episode. Thank you for reminding me of that.
You're welcome. I can kind of tell that you forgot about it, so I was like waiting to like.
I have to be honest. I have to be honest with you. The reason I forgot about it is because like it doesn't feel real to me. So this would be a good way to close.
Your body was not ready.
Yeah, this would be a good way to close the episode. I mean, like, longtime Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé has announced his retirement from Nintendo. And like I almost can't believe it. I mean, Reggie has been the face of Nintendo for like 16 years now.
Yeah.
Or 13 or 16, something like that.
Some shit like that. It's been a good long time.
He has been not even just like in terms of Nintendo. He has been a legendary figure in the video game industry. For the memes alone,
the man's a living meme. So,
and just by all accounts, a genuine person. You know, just a very genuine person. Yeah, and has done a lot for the video game industry. Has done a lot for Nintendo as a company, and I love that. You know, I'm not happy that he's leaving. Obviously, I'm going to miss him terribly, but I love that he's leaving Nintendo on such a high note.
Yeah.
You know, he's leaving at the top of his game. He's gracefully bowing out. You know, and I mean, you gotta salute the Reginator, man. My body certainly was not ready. But yeah, he's leaving in April. April 15th will be, which I believe is the end of the fiscal year. So he's kind of doing that clean exit. You know, stepping down. From his position as president of Nintendo of America, being replaced by former marketing lead for Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser, taking his place. So, you know,
we should be worried. No, I'm sure.
Yeah. So go ahead and insert all your Bowser jokes there.
Well, that man in itself, he's just gonna be a living meme just because his fucking name.
He's got those shoes to fill. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, he does.
It's the weird things where after the passing of Iwata, and now like with Reggie retiring, like all of these iconic, and with the advent of Nintendo Direct, I mean, we've really come to know and love these people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like as people, I mean, we've grown accustomed to them. We've, you sort of feel like they're your friends a little bit, and so it's weird. It's a weirdly emotional thing to like. At least for me, like as a diehard Nintendo fan, like it's a weird thing to see, to see these people that I've grown to know and love, like kind of bow out. And yes, we've had people like Kimishima, like kind of taking over the reins and spearheading a lot of the big directs and stuff like that. And I'm sure Doug Bowser is going to become a very public face. I think he's going to do his best to fill those big Reggie-sized shoes.
I swear to God, I saw like a funny image of him.
Oh yeah,
with like, I don't know. I saw kind of like when it first got announced. He's just like he's basically saying like, he's like basically behind him was like a fucking tied up plushie of like Mario and Luigi. I was like, all right then.
that's the sort of thing that he's gonna need. He's gonna need to have a good humor about it all. Like he's gonna need. I
think that needs to be his shtick.
It does. It does. So they really need to sort of lean into that with him, and he's I do I'm coming into it with an open mind. I mean, it's sort of weird. It's like it's a sort of like, I'm your new dad kind of thing.
I don't know you.
Yeah, but I have an open mind about it. I mean, it's going to be weird, you know, when you see that first direct. It was weird when I saw the first direct without Mr. Iwata, you know, and now it's...
Did you cry?
Oh, God, are you kidding me? I was a mess for like 6 months.
I know. I know you were.
I was fucked up over Iwata's passing. Like, fucked all the way up. Yeah, but like losing Reggie, you know, look, the man's not dying. You know what I mean? He's bowing out gracefully. He's leaving Nintendo at the top of their game, and we certainly wish him all the best, and we wish his successor Doug Bowser all the best, and we're looking forward to seeing the pure meme energy that Doug Bowser will hopefully bring to Nintendo, because he certainly has big meme shoes to fill. So we love you, Reggie. Our bodies were not ready. Anyway, anything else you want to add? Any other bombshells?
That's about it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.